What's up YouTube? Today I have a juicy one for you. We're going to learn how to deal with a fast punch to the face using Aikido hand deflections. We'll also discuss why punches are so criminally non-existent in the Aikido world and what you can do to get the most out of your training. Without further ado, let's roll the intro and get right into the video.
Are you ready?
You ready? I'm ready.
Oh my goodness.
And freeze. That's the moment. Ever since I first watched Above the Law, Aikido has always held a special place deep in my loins. But this harder, old school style of Aikido is pretty rare. Over the course of my training, I've had the privilege to visit Aikido dojos all around the world, so I've seen firsthand how modern Aikido is practiced. And when it comes to fast, explosive punches to the kisser, they're more rare than Dino Duki. The big wigs of Aikido demonstrate punches at seminars every now and then for wow factor, but other than that, they're not widely emphasized. Unless you train at one of the few dojos out there that are really self-defense oriented, the overwhelming majority of Aikido schools are not comfortable with punching to the face.
We don't do that here.
This always struck me as odd. How is it that one of the most common attacks is hardly ever seen? You'll see versions of it in the form of thrusts to the stomach. If you're lucky, you might even see a punch to the face, but in either case, the punches are done in this super telegraphed way that allows you to get away with some questionable stuff. And therein lies my gripe with mainstream Aikido strikes. They're dishonest. If someone is honestly trying to punch you, chances are they're not going to tickle your belly button. They're going to punch as hard and as fast as they can right to your medulla.
Medulla oblongata.
If you move too soon, they're going to track you, and they're sure as hell not going to leave their arm out like something from Cobra Kai.
Bruh.
They're going to retract it, and then they're going to give you the Bob Barker special. A martial art should be able to address something as basic as a violent punch to the face. If it doesn't, then I'd go as far as saying it's not really a martial art, it's just art. Aikido has some really effective techniques, some of which have been used at high levels. Look, I'm not saying Aikido techniques are hashtag the best ever, but there is truth to them if you know what you're doing. If you want to be able to rely on them against real attacks, you have to practice against real attacks. That means you can't be afraid to dip your toes in the danger every now and then, and incorporate real violence, real aggression.
I also like to live dangerously.
I'm not suggesting you beat each other's brains out the moment you step on the mat. You don't even have to go fast, but at a minimum, you should always strike with intent. Check out these two clips. The Aikidoists in my audience probably know where I'm going with this, but for those that are uninitiated, all of Aikido's empty-handed techniques stem from the sword. After a lot of trial and error and a lot of slicing and dicing, swordsmen learned that it was more advantageous to deflect or parry a strike than to block it. Although both are important defensive techniques, deflecting has an edge over blocking, no pun intended. Blocks really only let you stop an incoming attack, but with deflections you can throw off the opponent's rhythm, set up countercuts, and keep the initiative. Then someone took it a step further when they realized you can do the same deflections empty-handed. And so the hand deflection was born. Today I'm going to show you two of these deflections and demonstrate how you'd use them against the oh so elusive fast straight punch.
Okay. Show me.
Before we start, quick disclaimer, I'm not an expert, just a random guy on the internet, so take this all with a grain of salt. With all that being said, let's get into it. The first hand deflection is called Suriage. The most important concept to understand when doing deflections is your arm position.
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
Commit this phrase to memory. The angle of the attack determines the angle of the evasion. That means wherever the attack comes from, your arm needs to match its exact angle. Doesn't matter if the strike is coming from overhead or at an angle. It works for kicks, grabs, and punches. Just pay attention to the angle. With a punch, the attack is coming straight towards your pie hole, so the angle of your evasion would be towards the opponent's face. So start with your hands up, and as the strike comes in, reach out and make contact from the outside, wrist on wrist. Once you have the correct arm position, let the structure of your arm do the work. Just like water going around the bow of a boat, the strike gets deflected by your arm as it comes through. As you evade, reach in and take the center line, stunning the opponent with a strike of your own. Fight the urge to go for the wrist here. Instead, trap the arm at the bicep. Don't collapse and let them crowd you. Frame with your arms and control the space. For practice purposes, push them back and reset. A big mistake people make is they move too soon. Steady yourself. Hold the line until they commit. Once you make contact, now you move off the line. One more time. Hands are up, the attack comes in, match the angle and evade, take center, trap and frame. We spend a lot of time here during practice, but this is just a transitory position. When we go dynamic, because of that other arm, we don't linger here.
Fucking lingerer, man.
Yeah, totally.
Linger.
You always want to position yourself in the dead angle, or Shikaku.
Shish kebab, Shawshank Redemption, Chicago!
Not Shikaka, Shikaku.
I'm in
It's the opponent's blind spot, and it's where you want to be at all times. So that was Suriage, where we deflect with our same arm, but sometimes you need to deflect with your opposite arm. This is a perfect time to do deflection number 2, Ukenagashi. Meet the strike on the inside this time, near the wrist. The moment you make contact, begin to collapse your arm to your chest. Elbow goes sky high. As the strike is bypassed, take center with that same hand. The other arm traps and frames. The trap is crucial. A lot of people roast Aikido and say, oh, Aikido is BS, it's fake, you'll never catch the wrist in midair, and it's not wrong. A fast punch is like a speeding bullet. If you think you can catch a fist in midair, you can make like an Italian mobster and forget about it. An honest attacker is going to protect their arm if they sense you fishing for it. So with this in mind, we capture the upper arm, which doesn't flail around as much. Then it's easy to slide down to the wrist if we need to, or just do a technique that doesn't involve the arm in the first place. Problem solved. Again in motion. Evade and turn, elbow is high. Once you evade, you're in there. You're in there like swimwear. Focus on getting position first, and then you can worry about the finish. Make sure your wrist is making contact with their wrist every single time. If you're trying to knock the strike out of the way with the tip of the elbow, it's not going to work. Matter of fact, there shouldn't be any collision at all. Time it so that you blend with the attack instead of clashing. The opponent should feel like they hit nothing but air. Now, I totally get what some of you are thinking. It looks absurd.
This is a load of barnacles.
But understand that this is dojo technique. It's a perfect scenario where the opponent is fully committed to the attack. I know what they're going to do and when they will do it. We do this to learn the movements. Obviously, reality is more unpredictable. If you want to be able to apply this for real, at a certain point you have to move beyond the script and spar. I'm a big believer in the phrase, you fight the way you train. You can't avoid striking and pressure testing, practicing all clean and tidy, and expect to do well in a live situation.
Stings me like a fissure in my ass, but you're right.
You have to expose yourself to the chaos of sparring a resisting opponent.
You gotta block that!
Those who immerse themselves in that, and especially the ones who have a solid foundation in striking and grappling, are the ones that can successfully apply Aikido in a live situation. Traditional Aikido alone, the way it's practiced today, is just not enough. It's just a tiny piece of the self-defense puzzle. The warriors of yesterday weren't just training wrist locks all day. They were studying the most devastating ways to strike, the most overpowered grappling techniques, and obsessing over the most efficient ways to dispatch their opponent. For them, the way they trained could literally determine if they lived or died. When used properly, Aikido can be an amazing supplement to other skills. But the reality is, fighting is messy. You're going to get taken down, you're going to get hit, and you need to know how to hit back. So you need to be prepared to adapt to the situation and act without hesitation. This harder style of training is not every Aikidoist's cup of tea. Generally speaking, Aikido tends to attract people who are averse to violence. For them, Aikido is more of a spiritual path, like a Japanese yoga. That's cool, not trying to yuck their yum. Aikido has a lot to offer beyond self-defense, and everyone trains it for different reasons. But in my opinion, a martial art should prepare you for violence. Saotomi Sensei put it best when he said, if Aikido is just dancing for you, then your Aikido is shallow, and it has no ability to either defend or heal. Even the founder himself, despite all his cryptic talk about peace and harmony, understood the importance of embracing the dark arts. The uncomfortable truth is that the ability to destroy is necessary in a fight for your life. By avoiding violence in training, you guarantee that you'll never be prepared for it. I'm not trying to sound preachy, but it's important to set aside comfortable training every now and then and work on what scares you, because real growth happens outside your comfort zone. So that's my spiel for today. The deflections are definitely something to add to the tool belt, but besides that, I really hope this video resonated with you guys. I remember training punches at a dojo I was visiting, and a black belt asked me to intentionally miss and stop tracking him so he could do the technique. That to me is unacceptable.
No, I don't accept that.
If you're not into the fighting aspects of the art, whatever, do your thing. But if you want Aikido to be practical, you need to be honest with yourself and your training partners. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.